You're
Follows
live.
your flight attendant to her fully upright and locked position. Oh, wait a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat and buckle up. Seat backs and tray tables in their full upright position. It's another episode of Skip Happens. A view from 30,000 feet. From the first music lesson to the first paid gig to signing the deal, it's the journey that is the life of an artist. Now, here's your captain and co-captain, a.k.a. your hosts, Skip Clark and Deb Lamphear.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hey. It's good to see you, Deb. It's been a little bit.
It has been. I missed being here.
Yeah, well, we missed you. Seriously, I missed you.
Thank you.
Seriously, I really missed you. I'm just saying. All right, no, it's good to have you back, Deb. We're ready to roll. It's another Skip Happens, and very special guest. He's one of a whole group of guys. Matter of fact, he is the guy. When we think about this, it's Mike, and the name of the band is Mike and the Moonpies. Mike and the Moonpies. Now you're going, Mike and the Moonpies. Okay. I love moon pies, by the way. Aren't they like the candies that they have in Nashville? And you get them in all sorts of things. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's like a little snack treat.
Yeah, I love that. But Mike and the Moonpies, you guys have been around for a while. You're just getting started type artist. You've been around much longer, much more than a decade. That's a long time, dude. And you just, well, let's start from scratch. Where are you right now?
I'm just a little bit north of Austin, Texas.
Oh, I see the Gillies behind you. I like that.
Thanks. This is my little home studio thing that I concocted during the COVID time.
Welcome. Exactly. Yeah. Dude, doing what you do and doing what Devin and myself do, it's like when COVID kind of set in, it's like, okay, I got all this time. Okay, I'm going to take that room and I'm going to change it around. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And hence, here we are. Well, it's good to see you, brother. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's talk about Mike and the Moonpies. How long have you guys actually been around?
I started it in 2007, I would say. And I didn't put out a full-length record until 2010. So we kind of just hit the decade mark on making records. But we were doing bar gigs, here in Austin, it's easy. I was doing residencies, I was doing one a week. Every single night of the week we had a gig. So 2007, 2010, we just really worked it hard here in town.
Yeah. So you take a place like Gillies or a place in Texas that they're like dance clubs. That's what they are. And the type of band that you are with the kind of a bluesy, but country, but I guess you could line dance to it really easy. It's got to be big there. It's got to be big.
Yeah. That's how we started. We were doing every night was a 4-hour show, and it was, I had just started writing the songs for this particular band. So there was only maybe 10 of our songs in the set, and everything else was covers. And, the whole thing was make it danceable. Mm-hmm. And, we would do a 4-hour night at the Broken Spoke, and you'll lose your gig if you don't have them on the dance floor the entire night. So
really, are they that to work these dance halls? Are they like, man, if you don't put anybody on this dance floor, you're not coming back?
100%. They're all run by, families that have owned those places since they started, and people that have built those buildings, almost 100 years ago. It's all the same families. So, they're very particular about what you're doing there and how hard you're working at it and what you sound like. And it was hard to get in there at first, but once we got in and we proved ourselves to them,
So you've had go ahead, Deb.
Well, I was going to say for us attending the event, we want to be out there dancing anyway. So we want to hear that kind of music.
Yeah, it was how we learned how to do what we're doing now. Really. It was more of a learning thing than anything else. Now that I look back on it,
Yeah, but you've had 8 studio albums? Is that right? Is that what I'm reading here?
I think that's right. Yeah, 8 studio records, a live record, some EPs and singles somewhere in the middle.
And then how did you get finally you decided to send your music to radio, or how did all that come about?
Yeah, we've played around with regional radio. We have been for the last decade. Every now and then one single a record usually is what we'll do, and just kind of keeps us hot down here. And the Texas radio thing is, I did a radio tour back when I first started the band, and met all the PDs around here, and everybody, we're all buddies now. It's all a text message away from me if I got a new single, here's something, or they'll text me, hey, you got anything new to spin? So it's very loose in the radio game down here in Texas, the way we do it. So
it's a little bit different here in the Northeast, but we look at Texas as you have your own chart.
Right.
You've got your Texas country music chart. It's like your own little world, but there's a lot of artists like yourself that are finally breaking free of that and really just opening up to the rest of the country, not only just here, but around the world too.
Yeah, I mean, that was our thing. I've never wanted to stagnate here in town. I've seen so many bands that started like us that ended up just being, Texas bands and played the dance hall circuit and kept doing that over and over again. And that's fine. I mean, we have an industry here. You can make a living doing that. And, a lot of people are happy and satisfied with that. But I wanted, a national and worldwide touring career. And, as over the years, we've started to, definitely branch out. I mean, we've hit every state. We've gone across the globe. And for us playing and touring so much across the country, it made sense for us to nationally radio push and, make all the publicity on national levels because I'm coming to those markets.
You talk about playing out and about. Deb, I don't know if you heard this or not, but they just played in Spain.
Oh, my gosh.
And
what a way to go.
He goes, yeah, it was a one-off. And a one-off means, okay, we got a free night. We're going to go do this. That's like a one-off. No, they go to Spain and
fly 8-9 hours across the country, go play a show, turn around, come back again. What'd you do this weekend? Oh, we went to Spain and played a show.
We had a gig on Saturday, 7 to 11. Hey, and it was hotter than hell, but that's right. We still rock the place. Yeah, exactly.
So how do you get a gig in Spain?
We also have a European booking agent that helps us out. I mean, we were supposed to go back when the COVID thing happened. We were supposed to spend a month over there. They kept on getting postponed. I have a sold out show in London that I've had for 3 years, and we've never been able to play it. So we're doing that in April 23. And also the festival we played in Spain called Huracasa was also a makeup from that time. So it made sense for us to go over there and go play the show we wanted to play before. So that was why we kind of did the one-off thing, and it wasn't part of a whole run.
I gotcha.
Question. Are there a lot of English speaking people there, or did you have to Spanish your songs?
There were some, like most of the festival people, like stagehands, promoter, guys like that. Those guys all had pretty good, they kind of knew English, you could get through it. But I'm very fortunate, and my bass player Omar is fluent. He's from down on the border. I mean, he lives 10 minutes from Mexico, and he was raised speaking both languages. So we were solid gold there, and we had 3 other bands that were with us, like Nikki Lane, the Wild Feathers, Kendall Marvel. And we were all hanging out there, and everybody was, if we needed to go, if anybody needed anything, I always find Omar to send him to go.
Can you please interpret for us? Yeah. But do you have to sing? You sing all in English though?
I did. And I would, I cut down on the banter. I don't really banter a lot anyway, but I sang all the time. We played the show that we would normally play. But I did give Omar a mic too, in case he wanted to say something, which he ended up wanting to say a lot, apparently.
Oh, good. Right. He was taking advantage of his Spanish there.
Yeah. We took full advantage of that.
Yeah. Nice.
I love
Very
it.
nice.
I love it. No, usually, country, you just sing it as you normally would. And people, even from different cultures, they still sing it back to you in English.
100%. Yeah. I saw so many people in that crowd that really, they knew all the words. They got up front, they were singing back to me. I'm not sure they knew what it meant, but it didn't really matter, to either one of us,
Right.
It was great. It was cool to see. And I've seen that across the globe, really, man. When we did Europe before, people just know the words, whether they know what it means or not.
And country in Europe, country music is huge.
It is.
I don't think a lot of people realize how big it is. Deb and I have talked to a lot of artists that have ended up going over there for shows, and they say it's just totally amazing when you get the crowd singing your song back to you, that you're like, holy crap, they know this. This is like a deep track on the album. I can't believe they know this.
Yeah,
and they're singing it back.
It's funny that a lot of times they do know the deeper tracks better than anybody over here does. They're more interested in it. They're listening to the whole record. You have a lot of people over here that listen to a couple songs they know, but they listen to the whole thing. And France really blew me away how much the French people love country music. And I think it's just as much about the music as it is about the culture of it. I mean, they're really like, everybody's got their cowboy hat on, and you know, all the shops that were at that festival were selling like Navajo rugs and turquoise jewelry. You know, it was cool, man. They're all about it.
I think it would take a little bit of for me to get used to,
Mhm.
you know, to see that. But it just amazes me that the country music is so big there. And then the other thing about the moon pies is I love your pedal steel. I love that sound. And when I hear that, it's just, oh my God, it's so good. So smooth.
We
So
couldn't do
smooth.
it without a pedal steel. I mean, that's our bread and butter. And
Mhm.
with my steel player Zach, who he actually learned to play steel just so he could be in this band. I had another steel player before, and
Wow.
he was going to leave to go join another band, and Zach learned. He bought a pedal steel and learned how to play, and now he's become. I mean, people. He was born to play the instrument. I mean, you can't just. Not everybody can just pick it up. So you know, he's blown everybody away, and our whole thing is steel guitar, twin, you know, with twin electric guitars. So it's a
Mhm,
lot of
mhm,
twin
mhm.
things, and my guitar player Catlin and him just have that thing, man. They've known each other for a long time, and they come up with these twins like that. It's really awesome.
Has it been the same guys for since you guys started? Have
Uh,
you pretty
uh,
much?
Pretty much. I mean, we switched out drummers recently. Omar, the bass player, came in about 5 years ago.
Mhm.
For the most part, we've been touring with the same guys,
It's
and
cool.
Zach and Catlin have been there with me the whole time.
It's like a family.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, that's I mean, when we go on vacation, we all go on vacation together.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh, you would think that you'd want to break from each other a little
Yeah,
bit, you know,
yeah.
because you travel already so much. Are you all in the Austin area or are they all over?
We were when we started the band, we were, but now everybody has kind of gone back home. So I mean, I think that kind of
Mhm.
helps with that idea too. Is you know, I come here, Zach and Omar go down to South Texas where they live. Catlin's living in West Texas. My new drummer, is the only guy that actually lives in proper Austin anymore.
Mm.
That's cool.
So I know Austin. I have not been to Austin. I've heard so many amazing things about the music in Austin. So was it just as easy to launch your career there as it would be for a country artist in Nashville?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, here everybody plays. I mean, I moved
Mhm,
here from
mhm.
Houston in 2002 or 2003, and immediately, you know, had people banging down the door to just make music together. And I've done shows with everybody knows everybody. It's the same way. Everybody knows everybody in
Mhm.
town. You know, you don't have one guy can't make it tonight. There's 50 people you can call that'll come and sit in on your gig.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
the community is very similar to that.
Do they do the whole songwriter rounds and or
There's some of
things
that.
like that? Okay.
That's more of a Nashville thing. And this is
Mhm.
more just, you know, straight bar gig
Mhm.
band stuff, you know?
Mhm. Get out and jam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have a good time. Do you get to Nashville much, Mike?
Yeah, probably 3 or 4 times a year.
Mhm.
Yeah, we go to Nashville quite a bit, and you know, we spend a lot of days off in Nashville. You know, if we have days off and we're close, we go to Nashville and hang. And you know, we have so many friends that we know in Nashville just from going
Right,
there for
right.
so many times, and people that have relocated from here to there.
Mhm.
You know, the like you said, the communities are similar, so people bounce back and forth all the time.
Exactly.
Mm, sure.
Exactly. So, moon pies. I keep going back to that. So, how did that name come about? I know
Uh,
what you know. We talk about it being a snack. And I
yeah.
get that, but
Mm.
Mike and the moon pies.
Well, I mean, you know, there's I need to come up with a better story for this. Okay.
But this is the real story,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
we want the
Okay.
real deal.
The real thing is, you know, when I started the band, and like I said, we were doing the dance hall thing, it was mostly covers, and it was kind of, you know, it was throwback covers. It was vintage sounding stuff,
Mm.
you know, and our band just played that way. We all grew up on 80s and 90s country, and we kind of just played that way naturally. And any song that I knew all the words to were the songs we were playing in the set. And I wanted to sell the idea of what we were, uh, you know, to the people that, well, we're just a young band in town, right? But we're playing these iconic places where it's been the same guys over and over again for
Sure.
years.
Yeah.
So I thought that the Moon Pie thing really kind of helped sell what we were selling. I always think about that Tracy Bird song, "Lifestyle's Not So Rich and Famous," where he
Yes.
mentions the RC Cola and a moon pie. And we were playing that song, and I was like, okay, you know, alliteration. I'm a big fan of alliteration. I mean, it all just kind of came together in the shower one day, and then I've
Cool.
been stuck with it ever since. You know.
It's amazing where those ideas come about.
Mhm.
I mean, you're saying you just, you know, taking a shower and you go, shit, that's what we're
That's
going to
it.
call the band. That's it. I got it.
And everyone does, you know, everyone loves it, and it's memorable. And
No, I know exactly.
we've been toying around with changing it for years, but we've gone way too far now to do that. We're in it to win it now.
I would say don't even think about that. But you mean obviously I'm just a radio guy, but at this point, and you're right, you've been around for so long, and you're 8 studio albums in, you've been well over a decade. Why change it now?
Yeah.
Then you're just gonna start your marketing all over, all new branding and all that. That's too much of a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The one thing
keep
that I
doing
wish
what
I
you're
would have
doing.
done was incorporated like maybe my full name or something into it, and so I could do something else by myself at some point. I can't just call it Mike.
We got Mike for you.
But I
Here's
think
the new
everybody.
single from Mike.
There you go.
Here's the latest from Mike. 92.1.
Well, you could be, Cher has her own name, Madonna has
true.
her own name. You could be
Yeah,
just
but
Mike.
that's a little different. Deb.
Simply Mike.
This is Mike.
Yeah.
This is Mike. This is like a John. This is like a Mike. This
I know,
is like a Lou. I mean, let's
Yeah.
think of Richard. They call him, they got a Dick. You got this. I can't even go there.
Sure.
Never mind. Never mind. That's not good.
Next
So-
topic.
Wow. Deb, you talked about numbers and Spotify with the new single. Talk
I
about that a
know.
little bit, both of you.
I was saying before we came on air, it's over 6 million streams for the one song that I don't even know if we've hit that number with another artist yet.
Yeah,
Right?
that was the one for us. I mean, I knew that song was going to be a good lead single off of that record, and it was the last song I wrote for that record, and it really tied the room together, I suppose. And I actually wrote it because I was trying to get on that show Yellowstone. I was trying to get a song on there.
What a great idea. I mean, your music would fit perfectly with that.
Yeah, that hook from that song is something that Rip says to whatever her name is.
Oh
on the
my
show.
God.
He says like season 1, he says you look good in neon, and she's
Yes.
or something like that. And I was like, I stopped the show, and I was like, and I wrote that song in like 3 minutes. Like as long as it takes to sing it is about how long it takes to write it.
That just blows my mind. Right,
Totally.
Skip? When we
Totally.
talk about that, you can write a song in 3 minutes and
And bam.
you get 6 million
And
streams.
get 6 million streams. Yeah, I mean,
Another song takes you a week, and you can't get 100.
100%, dude. I mean, I'll sit there with songs for months and months and months, and finally get them on a record, and
Do
maybe
you think you
1,000.
overthink it sometimes?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what got me on this last record, because we were kind of making it over COVID, and I had way too much time on my hands to write and rewrite. And I've learned a lot from that writing process. Every time we do it, I do it a little bit different. I'm always experimenting with how to do it. But that definitely, I noticed myself digging deeper and deeper holes with songs that I just couldn't get out of because I would throw things away that would have worked. And like I'm writing now a lot and trying to keep the first thing that pops into my head as much as possible.
Yeah. Make note of it. Put it
Yeah.
do a voice message.
Absolutely.
Something like that. Yeah,
I
you
have
got
tons
it.
of
I mean,
those.
yeah, I bet you do. And you hang on to them. Hang
Oh,
on
yeah.
to them because all of a sudden it's going to go. Got it. I got it. I got the next line.
Yeah. If ever I'm in a hole and I can't write something, man, I just dig through my voice memos and just search, and I'll find something in there it's like, oh yeah, I was gonna finish that idea.
Yeah. This is amazing. Well, have you is this all you've done? Or did you have another career? Or
not
always
another
been
career. I mean, I've had some odd jobs. I used to
odd
be like a
jobs? Okay.
maintenance man at a hotel or something like
Yeah.
that. And when I was a kid, I was doing electrical work with my dad.
Mhm.
But I've always done this. I mean, I had a standing gig when I was 14 every Wednesday at this place in Tomball with Northwest Houston. And that's all I've ever really done. I mean,
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you're able to make a living off of what you're doing. I mean, obviously you're doing very well. When you get a one-off in Spain, I mean, come on. I mean, and you've got a sold out show in London. Hopefully you're going to make up pretty soon. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, the whole band is now, we don't have day jobs. This is what we do. It's not glamorous lifestyle or anything like that, but as long, I'm paying a mortgage. I've got a little boy, it's all, I'm living a real person's life,
Just you're doing what you love, which is the most important thing of all.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So.
What about covers? I mean, obviously you said you play a lot of covers, but are there some that you prefer over others, or?
Yeah, we mix it up. I mean, we probably burned ourselves out on covers back in the day. I mean, we played every song that, you could probably think of, and we still do a couple in the set. I've only cut like maybe one or two for records or anything like that, and we switch it up, man. I mean, lately, about 2 tours ago, we were doing Poncho and Lefty every night. You know, it's always something different, and I try to mix it up on depending on the location that I'm in the country. You know, songs that are kind of hot there that I think people would appreciate. So we mix it up a little bit. The only cover I think we've ever really cut and put on a record was that Fastball cover of that song Away. And that's that song. I didn't really want to do that cover, but it really works in the show. People love that song.
So why not do it?
Yeah, we do it every.
You're going to have a great memory. They're going to know that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
So here's a silly question.
Uh-oh.
Do you memorize the words to 300 songs, or do you have to? I mean, that's a lot. I can't memorize 10 songs sometimes.
I generally get them all right.
You do? Oh my goodness gracious!
I think when you fall into a flow, it just happens.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I mean, you're not thinking about it. You got the music going, and you just know.
Oh yeah. If you think about it, you're screwed.
Oh yeah.
We've seen artists forget words to their own songs.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
I've noticed that I lean on the band a lot more than I really thought I did to know it now. A couple of weeks ago, our guitar player couldn't make it to a show, and we just did the show without him, and it was fine. We had steel player still and everything. But I realized how many cues I kind of go off of the guitar part about, you know, if I don't hear that part, I'll forget the next lyric or something like that. So it's definitely just ingrained in my head somewhere, you know.
It's like a script.
Absolutely.
I guess.
100%.
Right. Very cool.
Do you have a favorite of yours?
Man.
They're all good.
Yeah, they're all fantastic.
But I mean, there must be one that you're guaranteed to hear at every Mike and the Moonpies show.
Well, because of the 6 million streams, You Look Good in Neon is definitely one of those.
Okay.
The Steak Night at the Prairie Rose is probably one of my favorite songs that I've written. And then off the new record, Hour on the Hour, I think is one of my favorite songs. And that song just came off the way that I wanted it to. That's one of the first songs I think that I nailed every aspect of what was in my head on the song.
Well, have you had the opportunity to maybe hang with Pat Green or some of the other artists from Texas, or maybe do a gig with them?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, the Texas thing is so communal. I mean, we're all everybody's buddies. We all text each other and have inside jokes, and you know, it's the whole. Yeah, everybody's buddies.
Like what? Riley Green, who's obviously kind of all over now, but you know, being from Texas, and there was somebody else. Well, it'll come to me. Yeah, but that's cool. So, do you get to do gigs with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, that was when we first started.
Cody Johnson.
Yeah, Cody Johnson. Yeah. We did a West Coast tour with Cody Johnson before, and we've traveled the country with a couple of those guys, but most of the times it's festivals and bar gigs around Texas where we get to hang out. And I mean, that's kind of our favorite thing about festival playing in general is we're all buddies and we all get to see each other, you know, for the backstage hang, you know, is like where the festival really is pulled together for us. You know, I mean, the shows are great and the crowds are great, but you know, backstage is where we haven't seen each other in a long time. You don't get to see each other every night. So it's cool.
It's cool. That's really cool. If where can we find your music? It's all over, I imagine, of course, Spotify, but also if they go to themoonpies.com, they can find everything there as well.
Yeah, there, themoonpies.com. You know, we're on Apple Music, all the streaming services.
So
and Amazon and all that stuff. And there's plenty of places to buy the records, but definitely buying from our website is a good spot to start.
You know, Deb and I know you've been doing this for some time, but what's the best advice you've ever been given?
Man, that's a tough one. There's one about songwriting that I still am trying to live by, about never throwing anything away, which I'm still dealing with that. But like I would write something and just not be happy with it all and just
rip
toss
it up
the whole thing. And I've noticed now, you know, over the years that there was things that I definitely should have kept that I wish I had now, you know, demos that I made that I really wish I had, and things that I could definitely embellish on over time that maybe it's something I didn't really know about back when I was starting to write it, and then I learned about it.
Do you ever like go way back to 2007 when you first started and maybe listen to a demo from back then and go, oh my God, we sucked. And then you listen to it nowadays and you go, wow, we've really come a long ways.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
well,
I mean, it's the same way with radio. If I listen to old air checks, I'm going, oh my God, this is terrible.
there's a guy here in Austin that used to come out to shows, and he still does occasionally. But he would bring like a Zoom recorder and he would record full shows. He would ask me if it was okay, and he would put them up on like archive.com or something like that. And I've revisited a few of those in the past, and those are fairly embarrassing. I mean, we're just figuring it out, and we were probably drank too much at all of those shows, so that was pretty apparent. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. They sounded like the bar band that we were then. I mean, I always like things like that as just a place in time. So I can still appreciate the way we sounded then too.
Yeah. You talk about going out and you talk about maybe having a beverage, but what's your beverage of choice?
I drink a lot of tequila. I think is I'm a tequila guy. Yeah.
Get the worm at the bottom of the bottle.
I don't mess with the mezcal or that guy. I'm like a silver tequila guy.
Okay, all right. Hey, I see there's a couple of comments here on the side. David is asking, would you miss the bar gigs if you guys really started exploding? Which I feel you've already exploded. You're out there, and you still do the bar gigs. But what if you couldn't do them anymore?
Yeah, I would definitely miss them. I mean, that's my thing is. I like doing at this point. I really like doing rock clubs that are just like 300 cap little rock club, like little square black boxes. You know what I mean? Like that's where I really find it at home right now, is because I think it's the closest thing to the old bar gig thing. People really crammed into a room, and but yeah, I mean, I miss them all the time, and I just miss the atmosphere. I mean, that's why I write about bar gigs so much, and I mean, a lot of my songs are kind of about that aspect of our lives as a bar band. So yeah, but I don't think I'll ever have to miss them, because I think we'll continue to do them no matter what.
I like that.
I like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's tough, because sometimes the artists that did grow up in the bars and then they have excelled and they're at bigger places, it is always great to have them pop back and come on down. It's just a more personal experience for them and for the audience.
When we're doing, we're going to do the Opry for the first time on September 6th. But we're doing a pop-up show at D's the night before, like just to do a bar gig in Nashville.
Very cool.
Oh, where's D's?
Somewhere in Nashville.
I haven't heard of that one. We pretty much heard of every bar that people are.
It's a little dive bar. We go there a lot when we're in town.
Is it downtown?
No, I think it's a little bit outside town.
Yeah, the good ones are a little bit outside town.
Yeah.
So you take like the Station Inn or places like that where you get out of town, and it's a good place to hang. Deb is in Nashville, probably, no exaggeration, once every couple of weeks.
Right.
So she's got some business there.
So I'm always looking for these new places to check out and artists to go listen to.
I see David also posted here, I crashed a car in 98 listening to The Way.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that car, man.
Did he send you the bill?
That's funny, man. I love that song still, actually. I remember that video very vividly. I don't know. That was a big moment in time for me. I used to, that was music videos were still hot back that time. So, man, that's a memorable song.
Now I got to bring you up. A good friend of mine lives in outside of San Antonio, and he's huge into the Texas music. So when I talk, I'm going to text him after we get done tonight and ask him what he knows about the Moonpies. And hopefully he doesn't respond with, well, I know it's a snack.
So, do they even make them anymore?
Yeah, they're made in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They still have a Moonpie factory there.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're in the Omni. As we walk to the bar lines to get to our stools that have our names on them, we go past that souvenir shop and they've got Moonpies in there.
Yeah, people bring them to us all the time. I see them a lot. People bring me cases.
Wow.
I had a guy.
I bet they do.
A guy shipped me a metal tin of Moonpies before. All kinds of great.
God, they ought to sponsor the band.
Yeah, I'm not sure about. Well, I think we've been in that talk before, and it never really went anywhere.
No, probably not. Hey, a little extra help sometimes.
Hey, just show them the 6 million streams.
Yeah.
They'll be wanting they'll be wanting a sponsor. I'll talk to them for you.
I appreciate that.
We'll put a banner up on the stage for you.
There you go.
There you go. So you got the Opry coming up. I did know that. I was going to ask you about that. This is going to be your debut on the Opry.
Yeah.
And that's on the 6th of September.
September 6th. Yeah.
Wow.
We were, it happened really strangely. We were trying to get these gigs opening up for our friends Turnpike Troubadours at the Ryman. They had two nights there, and I think those are still coming up. I don't think they played those yet. So I was really pushing for those, and I've known those guys for a long time, and I was really wanting on those gigs, and it just wasn't panning out. And I was like, man, I wish we could just like do something else then, and my manager came up and said, what about doing the Opry on September 6th? I was like, that sounds like the perfect way for me to forget about this whole Ryman issue.
Absolutely.
No, exactly. But, when you think about the Ryman, that's like the mother church. That right there. And you go to the Ryman. Oof,
yeah, I can't even believe it. It still hasn't. I don't think it will settle in that it's actually happening until we walk in the door.
Yeah. Are you nervous about doing it?
I am. I don't, I know I'm not
totally get it. I totally,
I'm watching, a lot of Opry videos right now, trying to get, my head on straight about how
smile
to,
and
exactly. How to smile, right? What to say, there's so many things. There's so many things that I would love to say, there. And I got to cram 2 songs and a little bit of banner. And
I was going to ask if it was 2 or 3 songs. I know they say, okay, you only got this much time, and they have the timer on the side of the stage. I've seen it all. Right. And, you got to do it all within. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We still haven't picked the
That's
2
cool.
songs yet, but I got a pretty good idea now.
I'm gonna have to watch that. I can't wait. That's gonna be really, really cool. So proud of you, man. That is so cool. Like I say, I know you've been doing this a little bit, but I wasn't really introduced to your music. Of course, being from the Northeast, we're kind of we're the same, but we're separated because, like I say, you got your Texas country, and then we've got the rest. But when I was introduced to the music, I loved it. And then, of course, when we came on tonight, before the lights and the cameras went on, you heard me listening to some of the music, and I'm going,
busted.
I got busted. Usually, I shut it off ahead of time. Crap, he caught me. But no, it's really, definitely. Now, how many guys in the band? You got 6?
It's 5 right now, including me. We've had our friend John Carbone used to play keys, and he still comes around. He plays on the record still with us. He's originally from Annapolis, Maryland, so he moved back up there a couple of years ago. So if we're in the area up there, like I think he played a show in DC with us one time, and
cool.
And so he's still a part of the band. He just doesn't tour with us, really.
Mm-hmm. Are you on a tour bus? Do you have your own bus?
We are on a bus on specific runs that make sense. We also have like a little Sprinter that's got four bunks and a lounge in it that we kind of use for Texas and regional stuff. But if we're going out for, like, I'm about to get on a bus to do about 3-week run to the West Coast and the Northwest. Cool. So we stay on a bus for those kind of runs.
Makes it a whole lot easier.
It does.
It was having I had Lainey Wilson on here a few weeks ago, and she was saying that finally, after all these years, finally she's out of the 40 Econoline van and into a tour bus, because she's been out with Morgan Wallen and some of the others. So.
It is great. But there's also other aspects that you start to learn about tour. I mean, tour bus is going to break down. It's going to happen.
Did that happen to you?
It happens all the time. Usually it's on our way home, thankfully. But I don't think I've ever been on a run in a bus where it didn't. As soon as we hit 35 coming back down south in Texas, something goes wrong. AC goes out, or we blow a tire, or something like that. So we've seen all of the things, and dealing with drivers can be an issue sometimes. A guy that's not really part of your team, but you got, we're all
you're stuck with them.
It's interesting. It's a whole new aspect of touring that I enjoy it because it's interesting, but it's something I'm still learning about.
I'd be rolling out of the bunk. The bus would go around a corner, and I'd roll out of the bunk.
Yeah. That's definitely happened to us.
So I wonder if they're, how they're short staffed with pilots right now. Do you think they're short staffed with bus drivers for the artists? I mean, that's got to be a challenge.
Right now, it's very hard to find a bus in general and driver. I mean, everything is, a lot of buses set for the COVID year, and that's not good for those buses. They need to be on the road.
No.
So a lot of buses are out of service, and it's definitely, we have to really plan ahead to make sure that we have a
Wow.
bus, and a driver in time to do these tours that we're doing now.
So awesome. I see Amy is on there and says, woohoo, this Nebraska chick loves the moon pies. They're so great. So
Yeah, we love
awesome.
Nebraska.
Mhm.
Nebraska. Never
Yeah.
been to Nebraska. Been to
Great.
Oklahoma. But
Yeah.
Been to Nebraska. Never been to how many instruments do you play?
I play guitar. I play piano.
Okay.
Not very well.
You still play? It
I
doesn't
do.
matter.
Yeah, I used to be in a band where I fronted the band and played piano. But it was way too much stuff to carry around, and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh
You like
yeah,
the
really?
electric
Think about
piano?
that.
Yeah, I had like a Rhodes
Dude.
piano through
Yeah,
an amp,
yeah,
and
yeah.
It was
Oh, my
awesome. It was a
goodness.
cool like little soul rock band thing. It was cool, but it was a lot. It was too much,
You
and I
guys,
wasn't that great.
did you ever,
Mm.
as a band, have you ever gotten in a whole lot of trouble? Like after a gig, have you guys gone out and said, we went out, had a good time, started drinking? Have you guys ever gotten into a whole lot of trouble?
All the time.
I love it. Damn. I
Yeah,
love it.
especially we get in more trouble on nights off. That's really like that's the bad one, man.
Because you're not keeping
you put
yourself
us
busy.
you put us somewhere in the country on a night off, and who knows what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
If you could change something about the industry, now I realize here again, you're in Texas, and I really, I don't want to say it's separate, but they have their own chart. So that's the way I look at it. But if you could change anything about the industry right now, what would that be?
I don't know. I mean, we spend a lot of money on a team of people, and we don't have a record label. We have our own thing. And
Sure.
and there's a lot of things that come with the record label thing that we could benefit from. But we found a way. I'm not necessarily something I would change. I would just make it to where it was easier for all artists to be more independent, I think, because
Mhm.
it's been a long struggle for us to do this all on our own, and we've had to figure it out, on our own. So, to me, I just wish it was more apparent to people that you don't need a lot of these big industry things to
Mhm.
make
Mhm.
big strides in the industry. So I think more of a learning thing to all musicians about it would be beneficial. That's that the changing of the guard is here. And I think that
Right. Right.
that would be a beneficial thing for the people to learn about.
You see, I think you're a great example of not being on a major label and doing your own thing. And when I'm watching the comments come in here and the people that are watching this, and how much they love you, and they're all over the United States. Somebody here is from I guess you played
Iowa.
Iowa.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, hi Linda, how are you?
All right, it's your sister. I didn't know. No,
Mhm.
no. But you're a good example as somebody that's been doing it a long time. You're getting the gigs. You've toured. You're been out on the road with some of the big artists. You've been overseas. I mean, really, you're doing good. But my question is, it's what we don't see, and you must have a crew on your end. Behind you, somebody. I mean, I don't know if you do all your own booking, your finances, and all that. I mean, it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
I mean, like I said, when I didn't want to stagnate here in Texas, my wife helped me get this agency that I was really interested in called Red 11, which we're out of the Nashville office there in Red 11, and our agent John Folk and Josh Green have really
Mhm.
helped us out because we got to tell them what we wanted to do, and they were able to help us facilitate that. But then our game really changed with our manager Adam Oder. He's now our manager, but he produced this record Steak Night at the Prairie Rose. And he helped, like when we were done with the record, he was helping us to put it out and figure out how to navigate a lot of these things that, because we were just still kind of the bar band that just started touring.
Mhm.
And he had been around and made a lot of records and worked with a lot of artists over, the past decade prior to that, and had a lot of knowledge that we benefited from. And we just really clicked on how to, create our own wave in the music industry.
Mhm.
And, from that point on, we started working together on every record. He produces all the records still, and manages us, and now a couple of other
Cool.
people like Reckless Kelly, and
Mhm.
it's kind of changed his mindset too. He's he was just a producer and an engineer at the time, and now he's really dove in to the deep end on really career stuff for bands, and especially with us. And it's, both of our pet projects to make this thing happen. So we've slowly built together a team. Our publicist is great. We have all these people that are now behind us that are really helping us out, that all have been kind of fighting the independent fight for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, it takes a village, of course.
Mhm.
Yes.
But we're fine. We're learning how to make the right moves and spend our
Totally.
money and our time the right way.
Totally. In catering backstage, what is one thing that you hope you see at every show?
Anything but barbecue.
Oh my God, that's so messy. I can't even imagine.
I just have enough barbecue here all the time. We eat barbecue all the time. I mean, come
That's
on.
true.
And like,
I
you don't give me barbecue outside of Texas. I'm just not. It's not gonna.
It's not the same.
All right.
No.
You want Italian all the time, maybe, or
I could do
or
that.
Mexican. You probably get Mexican.
Yeah, Mexican. Man, it's
Take
hard.
care of that.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, you get these barbecue ribs, barbecue chicken, and you guys are trying to eat.
What I really need is salad.
Yeah.
It's what we all really need, but do we eat it? Exactly. My wife tells me that all the time. Honey, why don't you have a salad? No.
I can't do it.
It's not going to work.
Just doesn't taste the same.
What is all right, let me put it this way. What do you do in your downtime?
I have a 5-year-old son, so we hang out with him. Me and my wife hang out with him.
That is so awesome.
There is no downtime.
There isn't. Yeah, there's not really a downtime that I.
But it's fun downtime. I mean, it's downtime, but it's not really downtime. But you get to watch him grow up.
I mean, I'm talking to you now, 10 minutes after I just got out of our blow up pool in the backyard. We've been hanging out all day, and it's just great.
Don't stand up if that's the case. I don't want.
No, we're good. But my wife also works for the band. She does all of our graphic design and all of our social media stuff. So we're both self-employed. So when our downtime here is always together. So it's great. We have a little 1930s farmhouse that we just spend all of our money and time on remodeling. So it's when I'm home, I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. What's your most useless talent? I know what you're good at, but what's your most useless?
Let's see. I don't know. Probably. I don't know if it's useless. I'm just not very good at it. But like I can do a lot of electrical work here at the house.
Okay.
But the reason that I say it kind of useless is because I've gone a little bit overboard. Like I bought a ton of recessed lighting, and I'm putting it everywhere.
But that's nice. I mean, it's flat. It's in the ceiling.
It is. It's nice, but I've gone a little bit overboard with it probably. So I need to cut back on.
You turn on the lights and you got to put your sunglasses on. It's like, all right, honey, I put too many of these in.
But that's really probably my only other, just doing this and running wire.
No, I totally get it. It's just, it's so awesome to chat with you. Like I said, I know you've been around a while, but I'm fairly new to your music. I was introduced by, a promoter that you guys have hired to call radio. And we're playing the single here in Syracuse.
I really appreciate that.
What do you think are your chances of getting in the Northeast?
Very good. I mean, we did it, but right before COVID, we were up there. I'm sure that we'll come back, probably not before the end of this year, but I would almost guarantee 2023. We're working on one right now that will be early in the year. We're going to play this festival called Mile Zero Fest in Key West. Okay. And then we have to be back down in Miami a month later to do the Outlaw Cruise. So I think we're going to go down to Key West and then probably tour up and down the East Coast and come back down for that show.
It's not
go ahead.
Yeah,
it's not January or February, I hope.
It is. It's February.
I'm thinking
you have all of us
doing
people
all that
from the Northeast down there.
Yeah.
We'll all be down by you.
We've done it in both types of weather, and
I'm just teasing you.
Our summertime New York was a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's Mike and the Moonpies, and make sure you check them out. Just great information, and just really, it's cool to get to know you a little bit and chat with you and find out what you're doing. And the music is phenomenal. You can go on the website, the Moonpies. I love that. Themoonpies.com.
Themoonpies.com.
Exactly. And find out all about them. But they've been around a while. 8 studio albums, it says here in the bio that was sent to me. So, and I didn't even realize it was that many. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, I didn't
Holy
really either. It's
I'm
I'm only worried about the last one and the next
Let
one.
me see what else it says here. 8th studio album. It's a musical homecoming that returns the group to its roots as a working man's country band. That's cool.
That
That's cool.
sounds right. Yeah.
Did your wife, does she write these?
No, she's written several for me in the past. I mean, when we started this thing, it was her, writing bios and cutting cardboard sleeves for CDs and sending out stuff to radio. And it was her doing all that legwork back then.
Oh, I want to hear about this. You have an old square-bodied Chevy pickup from 1985.
I do. Yeah, I've had it for about 8 years now. It's my prized possession, man.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It's parked out front of my house, and not a day goes by that someone doesn't knock on my door trying to buy that truck.
Says my dad had the same one. I used to work with him as an electrician when I was younger, and I started thinking about my dad, my grandpa, and the original owner of that truck. Wow.
Yeah, I'm only the third owner. The guy that originally bought it gave it to his grandson, and then his grandson sold it to the guy that I bought it from. And it's all. I guess I should have read this.
I never read things, but now I'm reading something.
Yeah, I hear you.
Wow. And Rolling Stone Country, Mike and the Moonpies deliver a master class in country music. It's Rolling Stone. That dude, that is cool. And the boot, gloriously retro. And you are. And that's, that whole retro feel is coming back. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, our friends in Midland are a perfect example of how that's really selling now. And, we've done some shows with them, and we did some shows back in the old days with them. But yeah, it gives me hope to see that it's, that popular right now. So, because it's pretty much what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't stop what you're doing, man. I'll tell you, you're exploding. Oh, you're doing it. So we do appreciate you taking the time to hang with Deb and I here tonight. It's a podcast called Skip Happens, because usually Skip happens when we're doing this. Something's bound to happen. We always look into the artist, the well-established, is such as yourself, and a lot of the new artists and all different styles of country. So it's kind of cool. Of course, Mike from Mike and the Moonpies. Deb, you want to add anything?
Sure. If you get a chance, follow us at the Official Country Music Fan Club on Facebook. We will be following you going forward. And every time, as long as I can catch it when you have new music coming out, we're going to put it out there, because we have a lot of members that are always looking to get to know some new artists, which is great.
Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. We've been live on the Skip Happens Facebook page, YouTube, my own Facebook, and anybody that's watching this, please, if you want to subscribe to the podcast so you don't ever miss a great interview like the one we just had with Mike, just make sure you do that, and we'll keep you up to date as to what's going on. Mike, thanks for joining us here tonight. I want you to hold on when we sign off.
Thank you very much, Skip, Deb.
Thank you. Good night.